We're very happy to be here, and thank you for having us. I'm Cedric, and this is Gabriel, and we came from Manhattan Bar. Today,
Why don't we introduce ourselves even further?
okay,
I think most of the people here think, who are these people standing in front of us right now? Well, let me just introduce ourselves again. Cedric and Gab, both of us are native of the Philippines, born and raised in Manila. The funny thing is that we both studied in a place called University of Santo Tomas. It is a school founded by by the Spanish 400 plus years ago. And it is located in a street called
España.
España. So it's really amazing to be both of us. It's both our first time here in Madrid, in Spain. So we somehow feels a little connection happening right now here.
And we've been walking around
Thank you very much.
Plaza Mayor, which we have as well in USD, trying a lot of some sherries, so it's some brandies, so it's very, very nice. It feels like home, honestly.
So why are we here? We would be very happy to share with you the passion that we've been doing for the past 4.5 years in a place called Manhattan Bar. But I think before we start with that, let us just give you a small idea of where Manhattan is. I believe I have the clicker somewhere. Oh, there you go. So Manhattan Bar is located in Asia, continent of Asia. A lot of people are not really familiar, especially in Europe or in America. Every time they talk about Asia, they'll be thinking of beach, forest. But actually, Asia has a lot of cities, a lot of thriving cities. Singapore, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Macau, Japan, all are big cities. When you talk about the cocktail scene, many of you might think that, yeah, well, honestly, Asia is a very, very young market when it comes to the cocktail scene. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 10, even less than 10 years ago, those are the times when cocktails are given emphasis in Asia. But historically, if you will have a look at some written notes, like the ones created by Charles H. Baker, you will see that there's so many things happening in Asia before that. During the colonial times, a lot of places, a lot of hotels, as how we call it, or clubs during those times, opened in Asia. Raffles, you have the Pego Club, you have a lot. The idea of these places is that whenever the Westerns go to this part of the globe, these places offer those kind of amenities that basically Asia don't have during those times. This is a place for them to relax, sit down, gather, and this is also a place where most of these famous cocktails are created, like Pego Club, Singapore Sling. I hope you heard about this drink before.
Shanghai
and
Buck.
Shanghai Buck. Well, that is Asia. Oh, wait. We have to go back to that.
Is it playing?
No rice, no life, yes. That's one true thing about Asia. We love rice.
I love rice.
It's not a stereotype. It's not a stereotypical thing for you to see that Asians love rice. Yes, we do love rice. It's everywhere.
I've been to. I was in Europe for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was having withdrawal symptoms without rice, and they offered me risotto. I'm like, this is not the same, you know.
It's not rice. It's risotto. But yeah, and part of Asia is Singapore.
Yeah. So Manhattan Bar is located in this very small country. It's a city as well. It's a country. Singapore is like 697 square kilometers. I think Madrid itself is 609 square kilometers. So it's basically the whole Madrid is the same size as Singapore. Has anybody been to Singapore? I see some people over
They
there.
look familiar.
What are you guys waiting for? Please, we will be waiting for you. We're really excited to have you over. So besides that, it's like we're talking about the people coming in. Singapore offers like the best airport in the world. It's named the Changi Airport, where it's like 64 million people pass through. So before, like 2009, 2008, people just like use it as a gateway to go to Australia, to other parts of Asia, because they didn't really see anything to do in Singapore. But ever since like MBS was like built back in 2010, I think more people really was encouraged to come out. Like they do layovers, they will have 12 hours, 16 hours, and they will enjoy. I'm telling you, like the food and beverage scene in Singapore is super colorful because it's like a combination of all Asia.
To give you a small background, Cedric was talking about MBS. MBS is basically this building over here. This will be like 3 big towers. How many floors is that?
That's
Yeah. This is the part. This is the how it looks like. So it's 3 big tower. On top of it is a replica of a big boat. Just imagine that one. It's one of the highest skyscraper in Singapore. If you stand basically in front of it, it is just amazing. It houses dozens of F&B outlets, rooms. It make a big impact in the F&B scene of Singapore because of how amazing it is, how big it is, how diverse it is.
Well, thanks to that, people started coming in and really appreciated what Singapore can offer. They've had hotels like from long ago, like let's just say example is the Raffles Hotel. If you've heard of Raffles Hotel, it's established in 1887. More on that.
So Raffles Hotel, this is the birthplace of the cocktail called Singapore Sling. This cocktail, right now, on a daily basis, they do sell roughly around 1,000, 1,500 of just Singapore Sling in a single bar. So if you can imagine how much Singapore Sling they're doing
Crazy.
on a yearly basis, this is just amazing. And as Cedric was mentioning to me yesterday, they're doing around how many bottles of gin a day?
60 bottles of gin a day.
60 bottles of gin of.
When they were selling it, they are earning like 90 million Singapore dollars. That's about what 75
in revenue.
Yeah, annually. That's like a bar's dream. If I sell $90 million annually for a single drink.
So Raffles Hotel, they closed down recently to renovate the whole space. Cedric and
I was my first time in Raffles for Singapore Sling. It was actually just last week. I was showing Barter Mini around, and I just realized I've never really like had a Singapore Sling in the Raffles. But when did they close down? Last year?
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago, they had to renovate Raffles Hotel. And we were just lucky enough to be invited. There was 3 bars. It was a 3-day event of closing the legendary Raffles Hotel. And we were invited, so along with Operation Dagger, 28 Hong Kong Street, and Manhattan Bar. So I'm gonna tell to my grandchildren that I'm probably one of the last bartenders to sell a Singapore Sling in the original Raffles. It's just like super amazing.
And then talking about Raffles Hotel, if you will go back 10, 15 years ago in Singapore, basically there's nothing that big happening when it comes to the F&B scene. If you will go to a bar or a hotel bar, you will basically have a glass of wine or maybe a gin and tonic or beer. But to have cocktails, Singapore Sling is the almost only known cocktail in the island during those times. But fast forward 10 years after.
Yeah, so it became really, really interesting. The beverage scene in Singapore became super exciting. I think there was bars before, like Bar Stories, and but Tippling Club was one of the first bars that actually did innovate the scene. And then 28 Hong Kong Street opened its doors in 2013, where they really helped the whole industry, and it became like a trend in terms of everyone. So 2013, everyone was like super excited. What is a cocktail? Everyone's like, I don't know. When I started bartending in 2011, I used to shake a Negroni. I mean, I can still do it now. It's just like
Wait.
it's no one. I don't know what a cocktail is. I just like search whatever. It's the home of Atlas. Atlas is a really interesting concept. It kind of shows you like what money can do. It's a very if you see it there, you have to. There's no picture that can justify. You have to drop by and really see. It's surreal.
So the place itself, if you walk in architecture-wise, it's fantastic. They have this high tower containing 1,400 gin. They have two bars facing each other. It is just amazing. Every time I go to the place, your jaw will just drop every single moment you walk in there.
Yeah.
So you have here the Atlas Bar, native. That is Tippling Club. Tippling Club just refurbished their menu, but before that, their menu is basically
Edible menu. The first
edible menu. They're doing gummy bears. So they will give you a set of things. You will choose from the gummy bears, and then from that, basically you can decide on what kind of cocktail you have. We're just talking about this just to show you how diverse the cocktail scene right now in Singapore compared to how it was 10, 11 years ago.
But there's honestly a lot more choices. And yeah, the reason why we are here, Manhattan Bar.
So, 2014, well, before 2014 actually, 2013, there was an idea of renovating this bar over here, a small renovation, just to refurbish the whole place, make it new again, nothing big. But then an idea, it was a collaboration with the hotel, Regent Hotel and Proof and Company, to maybe do something even more than that. So from the idea of just refurbishing the whole place, this came out. It was few series of talks. Cedric was in the hotel during those times, and I think you can elaborate on the transformation of the place from how it was before and how it is now.
Yeah, I mean, when they were talking about renovation, they just the owners just wanted to change the couches, maybe change the TVs. There was like big TVs there, like seven of them in the hotel. It's like basically like a sports bar. I remember when I was helping that bar, there was like 8 guests per night, and all of them were just like drink bottles, and they don't even care.
Most of these guests, if you will think of it, the only reason why the bar is there is because a hotel should have a bar. It is an amenity. It is where people would go to meet, and they don't have to go out anywhere else. So the basic needs are there. You have your alcohol, you have a seat, maybe a TV to watch, something to enjoy a little. You have a pool table there. But focusing on some other important aspects, I think, is not really a priority during those times. So when Manhattan opened, it somehow gave a steer in the hotel F&B scene when it comes to bar. We're quite fortunate to be working in that place and have the opportunity of exploring what is possible, because almost nothing was in Singapore, or I would even say Asia during those times, that created something like this. So they don't have any idea of if this would be something good or this would be inappropriate for the environment.
Just talk about like some of the key features of Manhattan Bar. I think what we're doing differently against other bars. I mean, we always see it as a friendly competition, but we have our house flowing bowl. I would call it a punch, but it's actually a very boozy one, so we renamed it as a flowing bowl. The flowing bowl is actually like one of the best things to do in your bar if you have like a very big bar, and there's like 15 people in there. Make this flowing bowl, and all of them can share it. It literally can give you more time in serving other people that's really into cocktails. Just a touch of the ICE program. I think 4 or 5 years ago, there was really no good ice in where we came from. Ice is such a luxury now. It's just like now it has to be a good ice. But before we had to fight off everything. I think I really believe like if you have the best ice, you can create a good cocktail because it's all about dilution as well. Water is a very, very important aspect of your cocktail making.
And again, if you will look at Manhattan, when the place opened 5 years ago, ice, who would have thought that this would be a very important component of your cocktail? Why do we have to put it during those times? Again, this is another way of you seeing how the dedication given by the owner itself and the hotel in creating something that is totally new. This is something that could be scary for people who haven't seen such things before. But again, this is an opportunity to create something first.
We have a collection of June of 2 years ago, June, we released this collection of our American whiskeys. In Southeast Asia, our collection of whiskeys, which is like a 300 vintage, is very, very competitive. We're leading as well in terms of education of what is an American whiskey. In our part of the world, no one really appreciates American whiskeys. It's somehow like it's only for cocktails. No one really like do sipping or whatever. But for us, we're actually like we were happy to really like show people what American whiskeys are.
Well, basically in Asia, if you talk about whiskey, if people ordered whiskey from you, they're preferring to Scotch whiskey. Not of them, as Cedric mentioned, are familiar with American whiskey. But the funny thing, or the ironic thing about it, is that when you talk about cocktails and ask them, what are your favorite cocktails? They would start saying old-fashioned, whiskey sour, Manhattan. So basically, people are drinking American whiskey, but they don't have any idea that they're having it.
That's true. And the last for this is our ingredients room. As I said, like 5 years ago when we released it, everybody like buys syrups from the bottle. I mean, there's nothing wrong in that. I think for us, it's just like we have the tendency to control like house-made ingredients. So we really like to get a lot of different ingredients all over the world and create something our own. So this is something that you can't really do outside. You have to go to Manhattan and just have it and enjoy it with us.
Well, I think this will be an opportunity for us to introduce to you Mr. Philip Bischoff. He used to be our manager in Manhattan Bar. We invited him here today in the drink show to create this Negroni and for you to try. That's the only job he has today.
Okay, then you just press it. Please. Thank you.
No, he's also a moral supporter.
Now, again,
Thanks.
Philip, just to give you a small history about the place, Manhattan is opened during the time when Regent Hotel is under Four Seasons. And just within this year, the management changed, and it's now under a different hotel group called Capella. But still, Philip, who now decided to continue his career with Four Seasons, still showing his support to us by being here and making some Negronis.
You can't escape.
So, right now, we are distributing a cocktail. This is a Negroni, but not just a normal Negroni. This is barrel-aged Negroni, but not just a normal barrel-aged Negroni. This is a Solera-aged Negroni. So, we have the whole cocktail placed inside the barrel. For this cocktail alone, we have dedicated, how many now? 14. 14 barrels of 13.3-liter cask, fresh American oak, charred number 3. We place those cocktails inside the barrel, 3 levels of Solera, 2 weeks in each and every level, and then we funnel up to one single barrel, and that would be the final product. So if you will look
How many more do we need?
at those casks, again, the original idea of the place is to have few of these barrels, and then the designer step up and say, if we're doing it, why don't we just do it big? Again, an idea coming from the designer, taken into the place, dedication from whoever is doing it during those times, from the hotel, from the owner. And it's a beautiful space. It's a very luxurious when you look into that. But again, it's not coming from our own pocket. It doesn't come from Cedric. It doesn't come from me. But we're here to utilize this space. Going back to the Negroni, the cocktail itself is the most iconic cocktail right now that we have. People really come back for this one. Is everyone have the Negroni right now? There you go. Have you tried it?
I'm out of practice, sorry.
I'm very sorry. Philip usually is. He used to be fast in making cocktails.
I think it's gonna kill you later.
But how was the Negroni?
But so the Negroni is it consists of 2 gins. The first gin that we use is a very botanical gin. It consists of 19 botanicals. It's called Citadel Gin. Then you have a St. George Dry Rye Gin, which is basically the basis rye. I always call this like an unaged whiskey with botanicals. You have Mancino Rosso, of course Campari, and a touch of Grand Classico bitters.
Salute.
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 No, still knows how to make drinks.
Luckily you brought it.
Thank you. So yeah, that is the Rick House. And we've been talking about the physical properties of Manhattan. We've been talking about the Rick House, the ingredients room, the beautiful marble bar. But I think not just in Manhattan, but in every single bar in the world, the most important aspect of the place are the people.
For sure. Well, as we all say, like the biggest asset of Manhattan is the people. This is the soul. You can have all this, I don't know, most expensive bottles, the biggest collection, or like a Rick House, but without the people running it, it's gonna be I don't know, a vessel without a soul. So we are very, very lucky to have the guys working with us for like 4 years, almost 4 years. I don't know. It's just like in 4 years you've been doing this every time. For us, it's just like I don't even need to allocate or assign people. They know what to do, and the most important is they're very passionate in what they're doing. So it gives us the opportunity for me and Gab to go out and spread the good news, because the people behind this they can run the show on their own.
And again, not every day is a perfect day for us. Things happen, but the important thing is that you learn from it, and from that, you develop something that would create a consistency within the team. Cedric, would you want to share your story in Manhattan Bar?
Which one? No. So as Gab said, I'm one of the first few people that started in Manhattan Bar. I started as a floor staff, became a bar back, then bartender eventually now. It's just like, when I was starting bartending, when I kind of like read books and I went to a lot of master classes, I thought that time, the second year, I was like, wow, I know it all. It's just like I can do this. I don't need anyone. It's just like I can handle everything on my own. But this is where it's all wrong. If you want to create something different and you really want to excel, you have to have a strong team behind you. This is the biggest thing that I actually I learned. Without Gab, without all the bartenders there, I wouldn't make it like this. They are really my backbone. So for me, when I learned the team is very, very important. You have to have a good relationship. They're basically our family. I don't live in Singapore, and I am with them like more than half a day. So 12, 14 hours a day. So you really have to make sure that the people around you are happy. Like spread positive vibes, spread good vibes, and eventually it will all come back to you.
We have so many interesting stories within Manhattan, within the team. Sophia, one of our senior bartender right now, she used to work with Cedric in Basilico before. It's the Italian restaurant adjacent the bar. He joined Manhattan as one of our floor staff. She almost decided to leave the place. She said, I don't want to do these things anymore. But then he approached during that time Philip and said, but you know what, I'm really interested of being a bartender. So from there, we did some few shifts in the bar, in and out. And she have shown tremendous passion, dedication. And now, she's one of the most, how do you say this?
Like,
Iconic, promising bartender of Manhattan Bar. If you will see her behind the bar, she's basically running the whole place. If I'm there or Cedric is there,
She's your boss, man.
she's the boss, exactly. Seriously. She runs the place, runs everything. Again, from someone who almost decided to quit to right now, the main person working behind the stick of Manhattan, just shows how much potential, how much how
willingness.
how much passion, or how much support each of us are giving to one another. And again, I think that is the most important thing when you're running a place or running a bar, is that you work with a team who supports you, nurture you, and support your passion on a daily basis.
Well, that's Manhattan Bar. Any questions?
That's it? Oh yeah, that's it. No, but I hope you
we
don't
are
mind if we
happy
invite
to
you on
have
the
you
stage.
over. Drop by and make sure that you let us know. We'll be happy to show you around. We love having guests over.
Please allow me to invite Philip Bischoff on the stage. I know he's not technically working with Manhattan anymore, but he has been part of the team ever since. And the family won't be complete without him. That's him.
No,
Just quiet now.
it's your show. I'm observing. We talk later.
Oh my God. He's just here to observe.
But now Philip moved on, and I'm very, very happy with what he achieved. And yeah, so I haven't seen him for like 3 weeks.
Since he left Manhattan, basically this is the first time the three of us are together again. So it's thank you very much for giving us a chance of having a small reunion here.
I just want to say thank you to, Gab and Seth for continuing what Manhattan has been doing ever since. And I think a project like this just shows what commitment from hotel people, like owners and management, can bring forward, and how a team can be inspired by very good leaders, as Martin Dell, who was the F&B director back then. He kind of put a team together at Manhattan where everybody was inspired and was willing to commit. And he is one of the best examples, moving out, coming back. Jenny, waitress at Basilico, wine affine, she wanted back to the restaurant but came back to Manhattan, is now a sommelier. So it's more all about the people, and I think Manhattan has become a great destination for people to enjoy, as well as a great platform for talents to grow. And I hope you will continue that. I'm pretty sure.
We will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But yeah, if you need any questions or you can approach us, you can pull us after if you're you don't want to ask now.
Him.
If you feel more comfortable to ask questions, at 1862, is that right? Later
Yes.
tonight,
We will be at
making some drinks.
1862 tonight.
Then you just sit down by the bar and then you can ask more.
Yeah, I'll see you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
10 p.m.